My beloved child, pause for a moment and listen carefully, because what you are about to hear is not ordinary. Something quiet yet powerful has been unfolding behind the scenes of your life. There is a soul connected to yours, someone who has been walking a very long road alone. For a long time, their world felt silent. Not empty in the obvious way people notice, but quiet in the deeper places of the heart where true connection lives. They learned to move through life with strength, with patience, and with a calm exterior that hid many unspoken emotions. And yet, something unexpected has begun to change. You may not see it clearly yet. You may not even realize that this person exists somewhere within the rhythm of your future. But a shift has already started within them. Because somehow, without fully understanding why, their heart has begun to recognize you. It did not happen loudly. It did not happen all at once. It began like a small spark of awareness. A moment where they felt a strange sense of familiarity when thinking about the kind of person they hoped to meet one day. A quiet thought that appeared out of nowhere. A feeling that someone, somewhere, might finally understand them in a way no one else ever has. And that feeling is becoming stronger. The truth is, this person has spent a long time learning what love truly means. They have learned patience. They have learned how to sit with their own thoughts. They have learned how to grow stronger in silence while waiting for something real. And because of that journey, the emotions forming inside them now are deeper than you realize. Not rushed, not shallow, not temporary, but steady, thoughtful, and incredibly sincere. Their heart has not been searching for just anyone. It has been waiting for something meaningful. For someone whose presence feels peaceful instead of complicated. For someone whose energy feels familiar, even before a single conversation begins. And this is where the story becomes truly fascinating. Because the closer their heart moves toward that realization, the closer the universe begins to align your paths in ways neither of you can yet see. Little moments will begin to appear. Unexpected coincidences. Small intersections in time. Situations that seem random at first, but later feel like they were quietly guiding both of you toward the same direction. But here is the part many people overlook. Before two souls meet in the physical world, something deeper begins happening within the heart. That is exactly what is unfolding right now. Somewhere, your soulmate has been reflecting on their past, understanding their lessons, and slowly preparing their heart for a connection that will feel unlike anything they have experienced before. They may not know your name yet. They may not know where you are. But they can feel that someone important is coming into their life. And that awareness, that quiet anticipation, is growing stronger with every passing day. This is why you might feel moments of curiosity lately. Moments where you sense that something meaningful is approaching, even if you cannot explain why. Your heart is beginning to recognize the same connection. Two paths, slowly moving closer. Two lives, gradually aligning. And here is something very few people understand. When someone has been alone for a long time, their emotions do not open easily. But when they finally feel something real, the depth of that feeling becomes extraordinary. It is not casual. It is not temporary. It becomes something steady, thoughtful, and deeply meaningful. That is exactly the kind of feeling that has started growing inside the heart of your soulmate. They are not rushing toward it. They are observing it carefully, trying to understand why the thought of meeting someone special suddenly feels so real. And in quiet moments, they have begun wondering something surprising. What if the person meant for me already exists somewhere out there? That question alone has already changed something within them. Because once a heart begins to believe that a meaningful connection is possible, it starts preparing itself to recognize that person when the moment finally arrives. And that moment is slowly getting closer. But there is something even more remarkable about this story. Something most people never notice until it is already happening. The emotions forming inside your soulmate are not based on imagination. They are based on the quiet recognition of something genuine, something rare, something worth waiting for. Which means that when your paths finally cross, the connection will not feel confusing. It will not feel forced. Instead, it will feel like two people who somehow understand each other, even before the first words are spoken. But listen carefully now, because what happens next in this story reveals something that may surprise you. Your soulmate has recently begun noticing small signs, subtle reminders that their life may be about to change in a meaningful way. Moments that make them pause. Moments that make them reflect. Moments that quietly whisper that the long season of waiting may soon be coming to an end. And the realization they are slowly reaching is more powerful than you might expect. So stay with this message. Don't skip this moment. Because in the next part, something even more extraordinary about your soulmate's heart will begin to unfold. And once you hear it, you may start to understand why the feelings they are developing for you are far deeper than anyone could have predicted. Something huge is waiting for you. Something quiet has been happening in their heart lately, a realization so gentle that even they didn't notice it at first. At first it felt like nothing more than a passing thought. A moment of curiosity, a subtle wondering about the future. But that small thought did not disappear. Instead, it returned, again and again, growing slightly stronger each time. And slowly, your soulmate began to understand something that surprised even them. The long season of being alone was never meant to close their heart. It was preparing it to recognize something rare when it finally appears. You see, when someone spends a long time walking their path without deep connection, they begin to understand the difference between temporary attention and genuine emotional presence. They learn to sense authenticity. They learn to recognize sincerity. And because of that, the emotions now forming inside your soulmate are not ordinary feelings. They are thoughtful, careful, intentional. Their heart is opening, but not in a rushed or reckless way. It is opening with awareness, as if every layer of their past experiences is guiding them towards something meaningful. And here is the part that may surprise you. Without knowing your name, without knowing your story, your presence has already begun influencing their thoughts. Not directly, not in a dramatic way, but in subtle moments when they imagine the kind of connection they truly want. A connection that feels peaceful. A connection that feels natural. A connection that feels like two people who understand each other without trying too hard. When they imagine that kind of bond, something inside them quietly says, that person exists. And every time that thought appears, the feeling becomes deeper. This is not the kind of emotion that appears overnight. It grows slowly, like a seed that has been patiently waiting for the right moment to begin rising toward the light. That seed is growing now. And here is what makes this story extraordinary. Because while their heart is preparing to recognize you, your path is also moving in ways you may not fully realize. Certain experiences in your life have been shaping your understanding of connection. Certain lessons have helped you recognize what truly matters in a relationship. And even if you have not noticed it clearly yet, those experiences are quietly guiding you toward the same moment your soulmate is moving toward. Two separate journeys. Two different stories. Yet somehow, both paths are aligning toward the same destination. Take a moment and think about that. Across distance, across time, across completely different experiences, two hearts are slowly learning the exact lessons they need in order to recognize each other when the moment arrives. That is not coincidence. That is preparation. And your soulmate can feel that something meaningful is approaching. Recently, they have caught themselves pausing during ordinary moments, reflecting on the future with a quiet sense of anticipation. Sometimes they look around and feel that life is about to introduce them to someone important. Not just someone new, someone significant. Someone whose presence will feel strangely familiar from the very beginning. This is why their emotions are becoming deeper. Because the longer someone waits for something real, the more powerful it becomes when their heart finally begins to open again. And that is exactly what is happening. Their heart is opening carefully, thoughtfully, sincerely. Not for everyone, but for someone who will understand them. Someone who will appreciate the strength they built during their time alone. Someone whose presence will bring calm instead of confusion. Someone whose arrival will make the long wait feel meaningful. And that someone is closer to their path than either of you realize. But there is another layer to this story that makes it even more remarkable. Because recently, your soulmate has begun noticing something unusual about their emotions. They are no longer imagining connection as something distant in the future. For the first time in a long while, it feels possible. It feels near. It feels real. Almost as if life is quietly preparing to introduce them to the person their heart has been patiently waiting for. Pause here for a second and feel the significance of that moment. Because when a heart that has been alone for a long time begins to believe that real connection is possible again, everything starts to change. The way they see the future changes. The way they notice people around them changes. Even the way they think about love begins to transform. And that transformation is happening now. Your soulmate may not know your face yet, but their heart is beginning to recognize the space where you will soon appear. Don't skip this moment. Stay till the end of this journey, because what your soulmate recently realized about their own feelings is something that even they did not expect. And when that realization becomes clear, it will reveal why the emotions growing inside their heart are far deeper than you could ever imagine. Something huge is waiting for you. There is a moment in every great story when the heart suddenly understands something it had been feeling all along, and that moment is quietly approaching now. Your soulmate has started noticing a change within themselves that they cannot easily explain. It happens during the simplest moments, while walking somewhere familiar, while sitting quietly with their thoughts, while looking toward the future with a sense of curiosity they did not feel before. They pause, and a thought appears. What if the person meant for me is closer than I think? That single question has opened a door inside their heart, because for a long time, they believed that deep connection might be something distant, something that belonged to another chapter of life. But recently, something shifted. Instead of imagining love as something far away, they have begun to feel as if it is slowly moving toward them, and that feeling has become impossible to ignore. You see, when someone has been alone for a long time, they develop a powerful sense of emotional awareness. They become careful with their heart. They learn to listen closely to their inner voice. And when that inner voice begins whispering that something meaningful is approaching, they pay attention. Your soulmate is paying attention now. They have started reflecting on their past in a new way. Moments that once felt confusing now make sense. Experiences that once felt disappointing now appear as lessons that shaped who they have become. And with every realization, their heart grows more certain of one thing. All of those moments were preparing them to recognize someone extraordinary. Someone whose presence will feel calm instead of uncertain. Someone whose energy will feel natural instead of complicated. Someone who will arrive not with chaos, but with a quiet sense of belonging. And here is the surprising truth your soulmate is beginning to understand. The person they have been waiting for will not feel unfamiliar. It will feel like meeting someone whose heart already understands theirs. That realization alone has changed the way they think about the future. Instead of wondering if they will ever meet the right person, They are beginning to believe that the right moment is already on its way. Think about that carefully. A heart that once felt patient but uncertain is now slowly becoming hopeful. That kind of transformation does not happen randomly. It happens when life begins guiding two paths toward each other. And here is something even more fascinating. Your soulmate has recently begun noticing small emotional signals that they cannot fully explain. Moments when they suddenly feel peaceful while thinking about the idea of meeting someone special. Moments when they feel a sense of anticipation without knowing the reason. Moments when their heart quietly tells them that the next chapter of their life will be different. Much different. These feelings are not loud or dramatic. They are calm, steady, gentle, but incredibly powerful. It is the quiet awareness that something meaningful is approaching. And because your soulmate has spent so much time growing, learning, and understanding themselves, they recognize that feeling for what it is. A sign that their life is about to welcome someone important. But there is one detail about this story that makes everything even more extraordinary. Because your soulmate has not just been thinking about meeting someone. They have started imagining what that person might feel like to be around. Someone whose presence feels peaceful. Someone whose words feel sincere. Someone whose energy feels warm and familiar from the very first moment. Without realizing it, the picture forming in their heart is slowly becoming clearer. And the qualities they imagine, the kindness, the understanding, the emotional depth, they all reflect something very specific. They reflect you. The more their heart opens to the possibility of real connection, the more naturally it begins aligning with the kind of person you are. This is why the emotions developing inside them are so deep. They are not reacting to surface attraction. They are preparing for something meaningful, something rare. Something that only happens when two people have spent enough time growing individually before their paths finally meet. And the most remarkable part of all is this. Your soulmate can feel that the waiting season of their life is reaching its final chapter. They may not know exactly when or where the meeting will happen, but their heart is beginning to sense that the person they have been unknowingly preparing for is already part of their future. Don't skip this moment. Stay till the end of this journey, because in the next part, something even more surprising about your soulmate's emotions will begin to reveal itself. They are starting to realize that their heart has already made space for someone very specific, even before the two of you have officially met. And once you understand why that space exists, everything about this connection will start to make sense. Something huge is waiting for you. Have you ever noticed how the heart sometimes understands a connection long before the mind can explain it? That quiet awareness is beginning to grow inside your soulmate now. At first, it appeared only as a soft feeling, something gentle and almost unnoticeable. But lately, that feeling has started becoming clearer. Your soulmate has begun realizing that the space in their heart that once felt empty was never meant to stay empty forever. It was waiting for a presence that would feel calm, genuine, and deeply meaningful. And recently, they have started sensing that the person who will fill that space may already exist somewhere in their world. Not just as a distant possibility, but as someone whose path is slowly moving closer to theirs. Think about how remarkable that is. For a long time, they walked through life with patience, believing that meaningful connection would arrive only when the timing was right. But now something inside them feels different. Instead of wondering if love will appear someday, they are beginning to feel that the moment is approaching. That quiet certainty is what makes their emotions for you so powerful. Because when someone has been alone for a long time, their heart becomes careful about where it places its trust. It does not open easily. It waits. It observes. It grows stronger in silence. And when it finally begins to open again, the feelings that emerge are incredibly deep. Your soulmate is experiencing that awakening now. In quiet moments, they find themselves imagining conversations with someone who understands them without needing many explanations. They imagine laughter that feels effortless. They imagine peaceful moments where simply being together feels meaningful. And strangely, every time they imagine that connection, their heart feels calm, as if that person is not just a dream but someone real who will soon enter their life. This realization has created a new kind of excitement inside them. Not loud excitement, not overwhelming emotion, but a steady sense of anticipation, like standing at the edge of a beautiful chapter that is about to begin. And the most surprising part is this. Your soulmate has begun noticing little moments that feel like gentle reminders that their life is shifting. Perhaps a sudden thought about meeting someone special. Perhaps a feeling of curiosity about the future. Perhaps a quiet sense that the long wait for true connection is slowly coming to an end. These moments may seem small, but together, they are forming a powerful realization inside their heart. They are beginning to believe that the person meant for them is already out there, moving closer with every passing day. That belief is changing the way they see everything. Instead of looking at the future with uncertainty, they are looking at it with quiet hope. Because deep inside, they feel that when they finally meet you, something will immediately feel right. Not perfect, not dramatic, but deeply natural. The kind of connection where two people simply recognize each other, where conversation flows easily, where silence feels comfortable, where the presence of the other person brings peace instead of confusion. This is the connection your soulmate has been preparing for during their long season of solitude. Every lesson they learned, every moment of reflection, every quiet realization about what truly matters. All of it has been shaping their heart so that when they meet you, they will recognize the significance of that moment. And that recognition will be powerful, because the feelings forming inside them are not built on impulse. They are built on patience, on understanding, on the deep desire for something genuine. And that is why the emotions they are developing for you are stronger than you might expect. Your soulmate is not searching for attention. They are searching for meaning, for someone whose presence brings balance and warmth to their life, someone whose heart carries the same quiet depth they have been nurturing within themselves. And that is why the story unfolding between you and your soulmate is so extraordinary. Two hearts, shaped by time, patience, and personal growth, slowly moving toward the moment they finally meet. But listen carefully now. Because something even more surprising has recently begun happening inside your soulmate's heart. They are starting to feel that the person they have been waiting for might appear sooner than they ever imagined. That realization has brought a quiet excitement into their life. An excitement filled with curiosity. Because deep down, they feel that when the moment finally arrives, it will feel like meeting someone they were always meant to know. Don't skip what comes next. Stay till the end of this unfolding story, because the next part reveals something truly astonishing about the emotions growing inside your soulmate right now. They are beginning to sense that their heart has already started recognizing you, even before your paths have officially crossed. And when that realization becomes clear, everything about this connection will feel even more meaningful. Something huge is waiting for you. Sometimes the most powerful turning point in a love story happens long before two people ever meet. And that quiet turning point is happening right now inside the heart of your soulmate. Recently, they experienced a moment that felt small on the surface, but deeply meaningful inside. A moment when they suddenly realized something surprising about their own emotions. 4 years, their heart had learned how to stand strong on its own. They built a life that felt stable, thoughtful, and calm. They learned to appreciate solitude and understand themselves in ways many people never do. But then something unexpected happened. They caught themselves thinking about a person they have not met yet, with a feeling that was stronger than simple curiosity. It felt like recognition. Not recognition of a face or a name. Recognition of a presence. A quiet awareness that somewhere out there exists a person whose energy will feel different from everyone else they have known. That realization changed something inside them. Because suddenly the long time they spent alone began to make sense. Every moment of patience. Every lesson about what truly matters. Every time they chose growth instead of rushing into the wrong connection. All of it now feels like preparation. Preparation for meeting someone whose presence will feel calm and deeply meaningful. Your soulmate has begun noticing that their heart is no longer guarded the way it used to be. It is opening again, slowly, thoughtfully, but sincerely. Not because someone forced it open, but because something inside them is gently telling them that the right person is drawing closer. And when a heart that has waited this long begins to open again, the emotions that grow are incredibly deep. They are not based on excitement alone. They are based on trust, on readiness, on the quiet understanding that when real connection appears, it will be something worth protecting. Your soulmate has started imagining what that moment might feel like, not in dramatic ways, but in peaceful ones. They imagine meeting someone whose presence instantly feels comfortable, someone who listens with genuine interest, someone who brings warmth into the quiet spaces of life. And each time they imagine that connection, their heart feels something powerful. Hope. A steady, growing hope that the person they are waiting for is already moving closer. But here is the surprising part of this story. Your soulmate has recently noticed that certain moments in their life feel different now. Ordinary experiences suddenly feel filled with possibility. Simple conversations feel more meaningful. Even the future feels brighter in ways they cannot fully explain. It is as if their heart senses that something important is about to happen, something that will shift their life in a beautiful way. And the reason this feeling is so strong is because your soulmate has spent a long time preparing themselves emotionally. They know what they want. They know what kind of connection truly matters. They are not looking for attention. They are looking for a bond that feels steady, sincere, and deeply supportive. And without realizing it, the kind of person they are ready for is the kind of person you are becoming. That is why the emotions forming inside them are so meaningful. Because the longer someone waits for real connection, the more powerful it becomes when their heart finally begins to recognize it. Your soulmate may not know your story yet. They may not know the path you walked to become who you are today. But their heart is already preparing a place for someone exactly like you. Someone thoughtful. Someone sincere. Someone who values the depth of connection they have been quietly hoping for all this time. Don't skip this moment. Stay till the end of this unfolding story, because something even more remarkable is beginning to happen within your soulmate's heart. They are starting to sense that the meeting they have been imagining may not be far away. In fact, a realization is forming inside them that feels almost unbelievable. They are beginning to feel that the person meant for them might already be closer than they ever expected. And when that realization becomes clear, the depth of the feelings they are developing for you will become impossible to ignore. Something huge is waiting for you. Right now, in a quiet moment somewhere, your soulmate is feeling something they cannot fully explain. It is not a loud emotion. It is not dramatic or overwhelming. It is a calm but powerful awareness, a feeling that the long season of waiting in their life may finally be nearing its end. For a long time, their heart was patient. They told themselves that the right connection would appear only when the timing truly made sense. They focused on growing, learning, and becoming stronger within themselves. But recently, a new realization has begun to appear in their thoughts. They are no longer imagining love as something far away. Instead, they are beginning to feel that the person meant for them may already be walking somewhere within the same chapter of life. That realization has created a quiet shift inside them. Because when someone has spent a long time alone, their heart learns to recognize subtle emotional signals that others might overlook. Your soulmate has started noticing those signals. Small moments of unexpected excitement when thinking about the future. A calm curiosity about meeting someone whose presence will feel different from anyone they have known before. A growing sense that the connection they have been hoping for is no longer just an idea, but something that may soon become real. And here is the part that makes this story truly remarkable. The more their heart opens to the idea of meeting someone special, the clearer their feelings become. They are not imagining shallow attraction. They are imagining a connection built on understanding. A connection where conversations feel natural. Where silence feels peaceful instead of uncomfortable. Where two people simply recognize that they belong in each other's lives. These thoughts are becoming more frequent now. And each time they appear, your soulmate feels a deeper certainty forming inside their heart. A certainty that the person they have been waiting for is not just a distant possibility. That person is real. That person exists. And that